I'm a dropout. I am a African nursing dropout. Yeah, when I got sacked from my
Okay.
job. I make music. Music was always the dream. And I swear to God, I was even getting sick from my environment. I promise you, that's how bad it can get. My dreams were almost too big for Birmingham. And I think I'd outgrown my environment. Love life is Vietnam, babe. I swear to God.
So, Roz, welcome, my sister. Just please give us a little bit of insights as to who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Okie doke. Well, I'm Roz. My name's Rosalind, but my artist name is Rozzzqween, but everyone just calls me Roz. I'm a Zimbabwean-born, but uh, London native. No, Zimbabwean, but Brum native, but London bound.
Yeah,
Mouthful,
yeah,
I know.
yeah.
I moved to London 4 years ago because I just felt like my environment was like clipping my wings.
Mm.
I felt like my dreams were almost too big for Birmingham, and I think I'd outgrown my environment, and I felt as if like um, my home life just didn't align with my true purpose anymore, and I just knew that I needed to go.
Mm.
And it was really sad because I was like, oh my God, all my friends are here, all my life is here. But like, I just got more and more uncomfortable. And I swear to God, I was even getting sick from my environment. I promise you, that's how bad it can get when you stay in an environment that you don't belong in. So I make music. Music was always the dream. But my mom insisted I do nursing, the African in her, Rosie, do nursing, you should do your nursing.
Mhm.
But I had to be like, no, I don't want to do that. I can't. I dropped out. I'm a dropout. I am a African nursing dropout. So you can imagine how mortified my mom is to have such a child that did nursing and left to do music. I broke my mother's heart. Um, but I had to choose myself because I felt like if I didn't, I was actually just gonna lose my shit. Simple
Yeah,
as that.
yeah.
So yeah, that's a bit about me.
Man, I mean, the most beautiful thing about this is when you mentioned outgrowing your space, um, when did you hit that realization? Because Brum is not small. Like people mustn't get this twisted. Brum's
Mm,
got its own scene, and the Brum scene is not huge, but it's quite a substantial scene.
mhm,
So for you to like feel that pressure, like, wow, I've hit the ceiling here, and I know
mm,
I need more.
mhm.
When was that kind of like what year, if we were to place it?
So I was about 20. I just turned 21. I'd just been sacked from my job in Selfridges, and I had some incredible. I still have them, but I had some incredible musician friends,
Mm.
and they were so honestly like incredible. I just couldn't believe that they weren't further because
Mm.
I was like, to me, you are like bigger than the universe, but it seems as though Birmingham can't facilitate your universalness, if there's such a word, and
Mm. Mm.
I quickly saw that and was like, this is an environment thing. This is Birmingham, and I think my own family life was quite complicated at the moment. So my family life was complicated because for a variety of reasons that did not benefit me. And the moment I realized was literally after I got sacked, and I was happy I got sacked because I was like, yeah, I don't think I should be here anyways. And I think I needed like a little
Ding.
fling. You need a little slap around to be like, Roz, come on, wake up now. It's time to go. Yeah, when I got sacked from my
Okay.
job.
Yeah. So they say usually like something big happens in your life, and that's
Yeah.
kind of like the driver. But most people that probably watching this probably haven't heard your music yet,
Hmm.
but you've somehow, even within that space, managed to occupy some amazing spaces. You've done millions of streams. Like
Thank you.
that makeup, like, like, okay, I feel this a lot. So on the continent of Africa, there's still a lot of people that don't know who the hell I am, despite
Hmm.
me being seen in a
Hmm.
lot of spaces.
Hmm.
I get it. Like I get it. I'm like the world's big, you
Yeah.
know, right? But to make or to get even a million streams, doesn't matter how big or how small you are, it's not easy. It's not an easy go on. How do you write? Like what is it that you draw on that helps your music resonate with so many people?
My love life is Vietnam, babe. I swear to God. I'm like constantly unlucky in love, and I have all since a kid. Since a kid, I knew. I swear to God, I had this thing like, oh God, I've just always had a hard time in love, and it's just I grew up being I was bullied in school. I was like the only black kid in my school
Mm,
in predominantly a white school, and none of the kids wanted to play with me, so I'd write poetry instead in my break time. And I didn't really realize I could sing till I was about like 15.
mm.
And it's actually a funny story. My friends, we were all at a bus stop singing KTB on a mission. Big up KTB. Do you remember KTB? In this room of darkness, I am hunting her. She was so ahead of her time. Anyways, elevated higher as my, yeah, that one. We were
Better
all
move
singing.
over. I
Exactly.
didn't
But
want
it
to
doesn't
get
seem
close to me.
like summer. It's a great song. Anyway, we were all at a bus stop and it was my turn to sing that song. And when it was my turn, everybody just scattered. You know when black people get excited, how we scatter. And I was like, oh, I can sing. Was that good? Because you have to understand, I'm from a family that I love my mom, I love my dad,
De
but
casa.
they kind of, it's not that they didn't notice, because my dad did notice that I was like musical and creative, but nobody ever was like, maybe you should do something with that,
Mm,
you know? And it was my
mm,
friends that gave me that, like, Roz, this is something of value. Like, this is something. And I knew I loved it. So that's how I sort of discovered I could sing. And I didn't think to mesh the two, my poetry and my singing, till I was like 19. Yeah.
mm, mm.
Yeah.
It's such a weird thing how I was having a talk with a guy called Jamie Luke, and he used to be on Hollyoaks. So he was like one of the first black guys to be on like mainstream media. He's a dancer.
Which one was he on Hollyoaks? Was it Calvin
I
from
don't know.
Hollyoaks?
He's Jamie Luke. He runs a studio called Shockout Studios in the West.
Oh, word.
Yeah, quite. He's just a really cool guy. And I remember asking him a simple question about writing because I was like, my writing's not doing me any justice. I'm not getting anywhere. And he was like, do you know what makes a good writer? And I was like, people that write. And he was like, no, people that live. I was like, rah. Like,
Mm,
oh man, it's painful to hear that because it's like, as you said, you take from your experiences and you put them in paper and, pen to
yeah.
paper. And you try your best to put it in song and share that
Hmm.
emotion. But it's not an easy balance. Like I think people underestimate the effort it takes to write a good song. And I mean effort even sometimes when it comes across as effortless, people go through a lot of pain to be able
Mm,
to give you that one good song, you know?
exactly. And this is what people need to realize. Like, people, you have to understand, like, people are singing my pain. And I realized that I'm a journal writer. I write in my journal just for like mental health purposes. And also, I just like to get my thoughts down always. I've always wanted to do that. And my journal is literally my music. I've grown up doing poetry that I guess I've gotten quite handy, just making it all rhyme and making it catchy, I suppose. But to be honest, that friend of yours who said the people that live are the best, 100%. I just live my life. Life just seems to have me as a victim in my love life for some reason. And I hate to say it, but my best songs are because of my most painful breakups. My best songs are out of pure sheer heartbreak because I'm such a person that lives, one, a person that goes through pain, two, and a person that is just so like I guess I'm a little bit fragile, and I'd always hated it about myself because people expect me to be the strong, bold thing, but I'm none of those things. I think that's Rozzzqween, but Rosalind is actually quite like a fragile, will literally cry at one poke. I'm very much an empath, I suppose, and I suppose it all comes from that.
So another question, Rozzzqween. So I used to call myself, stage name was Jerome JJ.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I found like yes, we all pick names because you pick names. But at the
Hmm.
same time, I found like it was my out. It was like I don't have to be Jerome Arab anymore.
Mm.
So I could take from all of my experiences and how would Jerome JJ experience them and how would he then convey them? Because there's enough distance between Jerome Arab and Jerome JJ for him to talk about what Jerome Arab's going through
Hmm.
and it not be Jerome Arab's thing.
Hmm.
How much of that does Rozzzqween carry? Because like I hear you talk about like your character as Rozzzqween is big. She's big, she's beautiful, she's loud, she's a diva when she feels like she controls a room. That's
Hmm.
Rozzzqween,
Hmm.
right? So for you to talk about Rosalind, and I'm like, rah, I can relate to Rosalind. Like I know exactly what that is because I know what it's like to be JJ, and I know what it's like to be Jerome Arab. They're two different people.
Yeah. So but it's interesting. I had to create Rozzzqween because I couldn't be Rosalind and fulfill the space that I'm currently in, fulfill the spaces. Rozzzqween is an alter ego. And yes, Rozzzqween resides in me. But please know that 7 days a week, I'm probably Rosalind. And being Rozzzqween has helped me, my confidence in ways that I could never, ever imagine it would have. And Rozzzqween comes from I was Roz. My stage name was Roz. I actually changed my name right before I came to London, which is about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I'd had a manager called Biggs. He was this big
Mm.
black guy. He had gold teeth and a strong Caribbean accent. And he was like, Roz, yeah, Queen, man. You need to change your name to Rozzzqween. Yeah, Queen, man. And I was like, okay, okay.
Rosalind inside. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yes, yes. Literally, my child, the inner child, like, okay, sure, whatever. Like, you have to become, he was like, you have to become a queen, like Prince. Like, that's what I see for you. Your energy is powerful. You have to do
Yeah,
this. And like, this is why
yeah,
it's so, and my love language, I realize is words of affirmation because
yeah,
I honestly, so many people have spoken life into me
yeah.
that has changed my life. So I'm very big on affirming others as a result of that because I know how much just being affirmed has helped me. So my manager, without even knowing, probably gave me one of the best gifts ever by doing that and telling me who I was, but I just couldn't see it because I'd resonated with an individual for so long that it was hard to see myself as the things that he was saying I was. But deep down, I knew that I could recognize these things, but I just needed to be told, like,
This
that's who
is
you are.
who you
So
are.
become
Yeah,
Rozzzqween. And that's how I became Rozzzqween.
man. Wow. Cool. So, Gina, before I ask, like, do you have any questions at this point? Because I know there's a lot that Roz has touched on that
I'm so
resonate.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, yo, oh, hi, by the way. Sorry, I'm saying yo because with everything I can relate with everything you're saying.
Mm.
I'm like I swear, everything. I'd almost say like you're describing me. Yeah, yeah. But I don't know. I'm stuck on the idea of the people that are the best writers are the people that live.
Yes.
Because my thing is like, okay, I know for me, same. Bullied in primary school, and I would write poetry a lot. And so the poetry I'd write would mostly be sad. I honestly feel like I'm at my best when I'm sad. Oh, I'm a great creator. But I always feel like, okay, am I allowed to write this? Because a lot of the things that have happened have involved other people. So can they handle what I might sing about?
Darling, that is their business. They're dating a writer. If you break my heart and I write about you, silly of you, you should have known that this was coming. The best songs I have are about men treating me like shit. Seriously. And one of my exes recently contacted me like, so you want to write a song and publicize our breakup? I didn't publicize our breakup. I wrote a song. If you think that publicizes our breakup, then hey, sorry. But I'm not really sorry because that's how I feel. And you are entitled to how you feel. What you write is your business. That's your creation. That has nothing to do with anybody else. Okay, fine. You're the inspiration. Then silly of you for acting a fool when you know I have a pen. Stupid.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the easiest thing to put it at, it's like, would you start to insult somebody if they're pointing a gun at you? It's kind of like use
Mm,
common sense. And I think this is where people get it wrong, is we live in an environment and where people want to, you know, hurt you and then tell you how to react. They want to insult you and then tell you how to react. And it doesn't work. It's not cool. It's like that's
mm,
not how it works. If you've done something to me, I have the right to react how I feel appropriate
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
because that's something that you've done. So
Amen.
like even in work environments, like you're talking about something along those lines, because
Yeah.
she's done what we couldn't do, Ross. She went down the whole route. She finished the degree, moved
Okay.
on, went into space, got work, started working. She's done the whole grind.
Mm,
And you're in that space, but that's not who you are. That's part of who you are. Like as Roz is saying, she's Rozzzqween, she's Roz still, and she's also Rosalind. Like
mm,
you are all of these things. These things make you. So if somebody decides to do something and then you go away and all of a sudden Gina decides to write a song about this person. I got a song about someone who broke my heart when I was in primary school,
mm.
you know? And it's so weird because when I listen to this, I'm like, yeah, it was gonna happen. It's marinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I don't put it down, I'm just gonna live with it, and I can't do that. So what's the ultimatum? Pen it, put it down, and it's gone. I can live
But
with it
Gina,
now.
you're in a great position because now at least you have the finances to finance your music. Does that make sense? To finance your
Yeah.
writing? Because the thing is, when you drop out of nursing and you don't have any finances, you just have music as your dream. Hey, your
It's
pockets
real.
will suffer. You don't have a job and you don't have a degree. This is long. At least now you have the money coming in that you know you can invest in ABC, which is a
Yeah.
great position to be in.
Man,
I hear
wow.
you. I hear you. I think okay, that's something I haven't shared with Jay is like, okay, the employment that I have now is temporary.
Okay.
So after this, they might renew the contract, but I'm really hoping they don't. But I decided that even if they do,
You're
I'm
done.
not going to stay. I'm done. I can't do it anymore. But then still, it's just this thing of, yeah. How do I tell my parents, man? Like,
So so
how
that's the thing is what we're doing on the back end with all of the other stuff related
yeah,
to the artist business canvas is to set you up. That's why like the message I just sent you was, do you have a private limited company?
yeah,
Because your uncle spoke to you about that, and your uncle
mm-hmm,
was talking about starting a production company. If
yeah,
you don't, what you do is we go to your uncle, and he can be one of the first people to invest, and he could be a director on your company, and we set that up, and we start to then make those links so that you can pursue this as a career.
Yeah.
It's something that Roz is talking about is something that we all go through just as artists who don't actually ever do the other side. Is we get so immersed in wanting to be these creatives that we can't do anything else. It becomes very hard to. You've gone so far down one line that every time you step away from that line, you're like, I don't know how I'm actually going to survive in this space. In the
Mm.
space you're in a lot, and that's what she's saying. It's like right now you're earning, you can strategize, you can still put money aside, you can
Yeah.
put things together, you can start to write on a small scale, you can start to reach out to people. But sustainability in the artist world all comes from purpose. It's something that I
Mm.
so strongly believe in, and I constantly am preaching it. Is as soon as we establish your purpose, it becomes so much easier to connect with a business model that can work for you. You know, if your purpose is to help people that are going through depression because of heartbreak, for instance, Ross, let's just say,
Yeah.
Mm.
it changes the dynamics because now it's not, you're not just writing songs. You could be doing short films. You could be doing your poetry books. You could actually be selling poetry books at the same time. So you could have multiple businesses running at the same, like multiple streams of income all running at the same time. So when she says that you're in a good place, trust me, I know both spaces very well. Being an artist and not having that backing or
Yeah.
that little bit of financial kind of like not knowing whether you can. I've been in a place where not knowing whether I was going to have a hot plate of food at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's how bad it's been. Sometimes it's been not knowing whether I'm going to get it that week.
Mm.
So, there's different things to it. And it's not to say one is worse than the other because we are different people, but I'm just saying sometimes that little bit of money that you do have coming in, if you manage it well, you can set yourself up.
Amen. I truly believe this. And I think that there's such a reason, maybe you don't see it now, why you're there. There is definitely a reason why you're there. And I know that it's painful to be in a job that you probably want to gouge your eyeballs out every time you're there and you're sick and tired. But baby, I promise you, there's a reason why you are there. There's a purpose for it. Everything is on purpose. It is not an accident.
Mm,
But
mm.
you are also not a tree and you can move at any time. And that uncomfortability you feel is for a reason because you know you need to leave. And maybe that's the catapult for
Yes.
your next chapter. That's it. Okay, I know I need to leave this place, but okay, with this money from this job, what am I going to do with these funds to go into the next steps? And that's a great position to be in. Because, darling, over here as an artist, hey, you might see a million streets, but you don't see that I live in Kilburn. You don't see that I have tuna, na, na. I'm tired of tuna. I'm tired of tuna. You don't see this. You don't see this. I spent all my money on drip because man had to do that for a video shoot and that. I had to spend all my money on drip. Like, you don't understand. It's not amazing all the time. It's really not. But I love what I do and I'm happy. And that's what I remind myself that I love what I do and I do it all again. And if you don't love where you are, then baby, you can change that, darling. Georgina, you're not
Amen.
a tree. You're a beautiful young woman. Your life is all the way ahead of you. Choose yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Roz,
you.
your turn, man. What's your question for me, my sister?
My question, okay. How do you find that as someone who's had to trying to navigate through having natural gifts and trying to make money, how do you think your peers look at you? And does that
So
bother you? How you're looked at, or do you care?
I don't think I've ever been the person who was worried about the external.
Mm,
So every project I work on, it's about the project and the outcome of the project. It's never ever been about me as an individual. So I've managed to attach myself to so much and thrive in those spaces. But in me being an artist in all of these spaces, it made me see the problem, and it was sustainability of the artist. We have a lot of people that are undervalued that are in the arts world. Like as you said, in Birmingham, you knew some musicians that should have been touring the world and being appreciated as musicians, but they're undervalued. And I asked myself the question, why? And I started to unpack that. So all of my accomplishments and everything that I've done and that I am doing is not because I want to be financially successful or above others. I'm doing it because I want to make sure that I put systems in place so that people like yourselves don't have to eat tuna every other day. It's so that when you need the drip is available. And it's that's my makeup. So in terms of how people perceive me, it's never ever been the main focus for me. I remember being on Big Brother Africa, and
Didn't know
somebody
that about you.
Oh, okay. So I remember just coming off it, and people going, "Oh, you're a celebrity," and I said, "No, I'm not a celebrity. Until I give you a reason to celebrate me, I'm not a celebrity, and I will never view myself that way unless I have directly impacted your life. Don't celebrate my life because my life's done nothing for you. So if you can show me where I've done that, celebrate me, baby. But if there's nothing on it and you're purely here just because I'm popular, then cool. I'm not the person for you because I don't subscribe to that culture. I am purely built on how do I impact and change your life. That's me.
Damn, thought-provoking friend.
So I stand by that.
I love that. I think as women in the industry, there's almost a thing where we feel like we must. I've spoken about this with every woman in the music industry, where we feel like we have to be desired, based off the way we look,
Mm-hmm.
and especially as a woman, I almost feel like I have to give this raw, sexual, young thing. I do feel pressured to behave like that, but I also know that it's just not me. And the truth is, like, I wonder if you've ever felt pressured to be someone that you're not in pursuit of your dreams.
Man, I mean, I wish you could see what I looked like when I was on Big Brother. Like I was stacked. And I did that intentionally. I knew I was going on TV, and I knew there were going to be guys that looked good and that were tall and dark. And there I was, this little bit light skinned, skinny. And I was like, I don't want to be that guy. I want to be sexualized as well. Like I want to be felt. I want people to feel like there's an energy around me.
Yeah.
And I realized that energy came from my eyes and not from, and it didn't come from my body. It came from my spirit. That inner sexiness or happiness or whatever it is that draws people in, it's all in my eyes. And if I give people the chance to communicate with me that way, they see it and they are drawn in. Because, as I said, everything that I'm doing, when I'm doing it, it is for others. It's never ever been about me. Like it's been about the what it evokes in you. You know, when I see you light up, wow, that's it. That's where I'm ignited, and that's when I'm my best. When I see you thriving, that's when I'm like thriving too. So, like, it's so hard because I can explain this, but I know exactly where you're coming from. Those societal pressures come from a framework that is it's so mainstream, right? It's not real. And until you've been at the epitome of the entertainment industry and drop from it, it's hard for you to fly because constantly you're trying to be something you're not. It's like Chris Brown all over again. You look at Chris Brown before the Rihanna incident, he's climbing and he's trying to be this thing. You see him after the incident when everyone let him go and he just became Chris Brown. And then all of a sudden we had this entertainer who was doing everything he loved to do and we could appreciate all of it. all of a sudden his graffiti, his dancing became more mainstream. Everything about him just became bigger because he wasn't worried about, do I look a certain way?
Mm.
How do people perceive me? It's a hard thing to go by. And I think as a woman, it's probably twice as hard because you guys get it from multiple different industries. You get it from the beauty industry, you're getting it in entertainment, you're getting it from.
Plus, especially when you just don't fit the box. I've been plus size most of my life, and I've accepted that I'm chubby and sexy, blood, and that's it. I've accepted it. I've accepted my fate. I do go to the gym, and I would like to lose more weight and stuff, but the current person I am, this is fucking me, and I've made peace with that. However, if I'm going into this industry and I want to do A, I want to do B, I want to do C, I have to also understand that there is a specific standard of beauty that has been set. But also,
Allow them.
I can make my own.
Yeah,
Who
allow them.
says that I can't make a standard of beauty?
Allow
If
them. So,
somebody can look at me and think, wow, she's stunning, that's enough.
I mean, you are stunning. Like your energy, everything about you is just super dope. So like my thing is, it's the same thing I said to Georgina, is build from purpose, my sister. Like look at what your purpose is. You got like you just if you drop me a message after this, I'll send you a link to the canvas. So you'll get the free workbook as well, Roz. Go through it, look at it, but answer that question. Like, what is your purpose? As soon as you answer that, all the stuff that you're talking about, you are able to, yeah, because even this gym thing that you're doing, if you're doing it for you and it's attached to your purpose, there's an industry there that's just waiting to accept you and to drive you in and make you some streams, like make you some money. Like just because it's not about the money, it is about that journey. That's all it's about.
I have a question for Georgina. What do you think your biggest obstacle is right now?
Fear of mostly of what I think failing, but also fear of what people are gonna say or how I'll be perceived. I think mostly because I've always been the person that does things right. Yeah, like with your parents, they'll be like, look, do you see how Gina is? Do you see? She got A's, she does this, look at the career she has. So it's like, it's fear.
My dear, it's coming regardless. Once you choose yourself, you only fail when you fail to try. Failure doesn't actually exist, my love. It's bullshit. You don't fail. You only fail when you fail to try. And the fear is just prepping you for what's good for you. You need the fear and you need to just fight through it. And you're going to get it all wrong, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Loads of times.
Oh,
lots and lots and lots and lots and lots. When I started releasing music, I didn't know what mixing and mastering was. Nobody told me. I'd go to the studio that day. I'd release the song that day. Nobody told me, bro.
How did that go, though?
You just do it.
I just did it. I just did it.
Yeah, and the song still goes round.
It still goes round. Hey, the song even went viral on TikTok. Say, hey, fuck off. No one can tell me nothing. You still, hey,
Oh my God.
I'm not gonna lie, darling. You just have to dare to do. You don't need to know the right answer as long as you're actually doing what aligns with your purpose.
Yeah.
Can do no wrong, darling. You will never fail. And your family, darling, I cannot please others. You were not born here to please others. And your mother and father, you have to understand, they will never understand